power meters. Power meters are a scam. You don't need a power meter. Unless you're a professional cyclist, you don't need a power meter. If you're a noob, heart rate is good enough. This is a sort of junk. You can call it junk, you can call it misinformation, you can call it half-truth, you can talk it down a lot. This is what most bike shops will tell you. Most coaches, most people on the forums, and that's fine. Everyone's got their opinion, that's okay. But most people tell you don't need a power meter. What is a power meter, first of all? Power meter is the ultimate training tool for any human, all right? Especially if you're a cyclist. It shows you so much about your body. The power meter is everything. It's so important to have a power meter, especially if you're a beginner, all right? Or if you've never used a power meter, you need to get a power meter. I've been using power meters. It's 2020. I got my first power meter in 2009. It cost me about $2,000. It was a Power Tech, which I still have to this day. It's been rebuilt many times. My favorite power meter today in 2020. Now, I can afford anything. I'm not a peasant. Just saying. That just gets people triggered. I live a peasant lifestyle though. But I can afford anything. And this is what I buy. Stages. They're the cheapest, the best, the lightest, the most proven, the most durable, the easiest to install, the easiest to calibrate. Everything about Stages power meters, in my personal experience the last 7 years, not sponsored, not sponsored, Stages is unrivaled. The best technology, the best product. Now, I can afford anything, but I'm the last person in the world. If I can save 50 cents, I'll go and save 50 cents. I despise spending more money than I need to get the job done. Right? I don't know why, maybe because I was brought up very poor, I'm not sure. I just hate buying stuff that doesn't work properly. Stages, for me, that's unrivaled. This is to change the battery. It's like that. Pop it out. There's no battery in here. There's a little O-ring that's missing. Just put the battery in. If it gets wet, you take the battery off, let it dry overnight. Take the battery out, let it dry overnight. Right in the sunshine. Put your battery, put your cap in there, put a bit of white lightning grease around there. You're good to go. Crystal grease around there. O-ring safe, rubber grease. You're good to go. You know, it's like they're so good. They're so good. Got an SRM, a Quark, a Garmin Vector, ASIO mode power, etc. Shimano, Specialized 4Eyes, all this stuff, you know, that's out there. Yeah, better than nothing. Better than nothing. Better if you got one of those products, better than nothing. But if you're in the market for the best product money can buy, the best product money can buy, which is almost the cheapest product, also the cheapest product, Stages. Isn't that amazing? The best product you can get is also the cheapest in the power meter market. How does that work? How does that work? Most proven, lightest, easiest to use, easiest to calibrate, easiest to update, everything. Stages, all right? Pulls off my gravel bike from the Mawson Trail. All right, let's talk about. So you need two things. You need a power meter. You also need a head unit. All right. Now, my favorite head unit. You can use Brighton. You can use Wahoo. You can use a lot of different brands. My favorite is by a company called Brighton. Sponsored, not sponsored. They do sponsor me, but I was using this product for a couple of years before I got any sponsorship. You know, same with Stages. Same with a lot of other brands. Right, I'm the only cycling YouTuber. Actually, I shouldn't say only. There's got to be someone else out there. I'm currently one of the main people out there with a decent subscriber base, the little verified pretentious tick that refuses to sell out, to shill out for brands where I don't believe in the product, but I'll endorse it because they're paying me good. Right? I can only endorse product that I would buy with my own money and recommend it. And for this one, the Brighton 330, this unit here is maybe 3 years old, I think. 3 years? 2017, 17, 18, 19, 20. 4 years of abusage of this product. I put a little silicone thing on there just to protect it from extra water and drops and falls, all right? Brighton 330. I don't think they even make them anymore, but that's my favorite one. It's just, it uploads so fast to Strava, which I'd also recommend. It's insane. It uploads in seconds to your ride to Strava with you use the Wi-Fi syncing. Don't use the Bluetooth sync, it'll just take like 10 years. Data sync works fantastic. I love it. I love this little unit. It's so light as well. 36-hour battery life. Brighton 330, my favourite. The Brighton 310, I think there's a few issues with those, but Brighton 330, in my experience, the most durable product out there. Fantastic. And when you're charging it up as well, just just be gentle when you put your USB cord in any item, whether it's your phone, your GPS unit. Just be gentle when you put it in there. Just like stuff it in and then rip it out and bend the cords around. Just put it in there nicely. Okay, just look after your product. They'll look after you. This has been fantastic. 4 years of usage. Do you know how many Garmin's I used to go through? I stopped using Garmin because of the warranty. So I don't want more crap product. Garmin will give me warranty, and then they stop giving me warranty. And I'm like, why am I paying so much money? Why am I endorsing a product that's so expensive, such an insane markup, and the quality appears, in my opinion, my experience, to getting worse? And then they just replace it with another product with a bad battery or a bad screen or a bad button that just wears out. The rubber pokes through in the 1,000, and it's just like, it's landfill. It's just crazy. So maybe I'm getting midlife crisis, but I find it hard to tolerate product that is so much faff. I just want stuff that's just going to work. That's light, cheap, proven, and works. And I'm happy to pay extra if it's better, for sure. If Stages power meter was $2,000, I would still pay $2,000. If SRM was $100, I would just go to Stages, because it's just less faff. It's lighter and it works. It's proven. So why do you need a power meter? Why do shops tell you don't need a power meter? They'll tell you need a road disc bike. You need a 9 kilo road disc bike instead of a 7 kilo rim brake bike. You need that. You need disc brakes and a road. Like, how does that work? Most shops are very sincere, but sincerely wrong. Why does a noob need a power meter? Because it shows you how to pace yourself. It's like being a master chef. You've used the thermometer for ages. You can look at a cake and you tell it's rising, and you know exactly what's going on. But even a master chef, when they're making their vegan cakes, when Gordon Ramsay's making his vegan food, he still uses a stopwatch and a thermometer on the oven. He sets it at 200 Fahrenheit or Celsius or whatever. They use these numbers, they calculate and stuff. That's constant, the oven at 200, boom, 200 watts on your bike, boom, it's constant. Using heart rate, it's like, heart rate's so variable. If your testosterone's low, your heart rate's affected. If your cortisol's different, just flopping around, your heart rate's affected. If your testosterone's really high, your heart rate's affected. I've tested all this, man. I've played with my testosterone levels, exogenous, endogenous. I've checked with the heart rate. It's crazy. If my testosterone's like 40, it's about 40, my heart rate can sit at 190 for 20 minutes. If it's my testosterone's 10, my heart rate will be like, for the same given effort, maybe 160, 150. So it's or maybe 170. It's so variable. Heart rate. If you're training to heart rate, you're stuck in the 90s. It's 2020. Well, I'm not trying to be some sort of special athlete. I'm just a mum from Idaho with 3 kids. Great. Even you need a power meter just to prove to yourself how important carbohydrates are for your mood and your performance, not on the bike, but at home. You can be like riding along, have your carbs, your power's dropping, have some more carbs, have a bit of rest, bit of water, and then all of a sudden you've got life back in your legs. Oh, wow, I can really push again. And so that translates to the wattages you can push on the bike, translates to everyday life. If you can't push watts on the bike, how are you going to push in life? You just like fizzle out and fade out. So obviously there's communication techniques and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that if you develop more power on the bike, that carries over into life. Simple as that. It just does. It does. So what power meter should you get? Stages power meter. Now your bike might have a Shimano crank. It might have an FSA crank. Might be Campagnolo, SRAM, THM or whatever. Stages Power make power meters for pretty much almost every modern crank in the last 10 years. Okay, I would send a photo to Stages, email them, or your local bike shop, local Stages dealer, and say, hey, I've got this crank, which Stages product do I get? And they'll help you out. It's a lot of shops say, well, oh, you don't need a power meter. Look at you. You don't even ride to us on this Monday morning budge. You don't even have a $400 refrigerator. You need a power meter. Some people will laugh at you. Cycling is full of pretentious snobs. Take a deep breath and relax and understand that. All right? You go to some bike shops, the service is deplorable. Not because they're bad people. I mean, some of them are tossers, but I worked in the bike industry. I still do. You will get resistance. Some bike shops will be like, you don't need a power meter. Or no, mate, it's just weird, man. The bike shop industry is full of beta boys who can't get laid, who live at home with their parents, and who race local Cat 1 thinking they're going to be World Tour riders, and then they never will. And they ride around like, don't talk to me, don't look at me. Oh, got his jersey zipped right up to their eyeballs, no gloves. I'm a pro, mate, I'm a pro. My mum and dad bought me my Cervelo. Oh, I'm a pro, don't talk to me, I'm too good. And a lot of these guys work in bike shops, and that's fine. They're not bad people. I'm just saying, don't be disappointed by the customer service from someone who has poor life experience, all right? Don't be put off by it. Don't be put off cycling because you're dealing with a 20 or 30 or 40-year-old or whatever, or someone like me. Right? Don't be put off. Just everyone's got their own personalities and their opinions. You need a power meter. Get a power meter. It's the biggest thing. It's the most important thing ever. It's a game changer. It teaches you the importance of cadence. You'll find that you can produce your most power at 90 to 100. Do the time trial. 5-minute time trial, half an hour time trial, right at 70 cadence, and then you do your time trial at 90 cadence. For me, it's 100. 100's my sweet spot. I just find, even if I don't have my data on the screen and I'm just selecting my gears out of habit, I'm 100 cadence. That's what my body goes to for maximum performance. I find that with running as well, 100 cadence. Some people it's 90, some people maybe 85, some people it's 110. If you're an hour record holder, it's probably about 105. Lance Armstrong about 105. So for me, 100, maybe 90, but 100 seems to be my power sweet spot there when I'm going hard. If I'm cruising really slowly on a long ride across Australia, there's probably going to be like 70 cadence, 150 watts, 100 watts, 70 cadence, cruising along, enjoying the sights, thinking about life, cruising along. I'm not going to be doing 100 RPM with a nullarbor at 150 watts. I'm just not going to. It just doesn't feel right. Same with I'm running really slowly. I'm just like plodding along 70 cadence. Doom, 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 doom. And when I'm trying to, go hard, it's going to be 90. Sprinting, 120, 130. Track riders pushing 2,000 watt sprints. They're more like 150, 160, some of them. BMX, even up to 200. Hummingbird cadences. So power meter is just very, very good to have. It teaches the importance of carbohydrate. It's a pacing tool. So why does a noob need a power meter? All right. Get your bike and got the steepest hill you can find without a power meter. And unless you're some sort of freakoid fitness person, you're probably not going to get up that hill. Or you get up there and you're like, I don't want to do that ever again. Because what happens is you hit that hill. Most people I find absolute noobs, when they hit the hill for the first time, even the absolute noob does about 250 to 300 watts at the start of the climb. There's a phone ringing here. At the start of the climb, they do 250, 300 watts. And then they just blow up. And they either stop, I'm going to catch my breath, I'm just out of breath. Or they go home. Or they scramble to the top and go, I'm never ever doing that again. So what you want to do is climb at 100 watts. 100 watts, And then you'll get to the top of the climb. And you'll be like, yeah, this cycling thing's not as hard as I thought. I'm pretty good. I might go to the Tour de France, And then you could do, next time you do 120 watts average, and then do 150 watts average, and then 300 watts average, and then 600 watts average. Like over time you can build it up. But if you do that first climb and your experience is like, no, this ain't for me, you're going to be like, bye-bye. Just like if you give a kid a sour apple for their first time eating an apple, they're going to be like, oh, give me the Mars bar. Give me the candy that actually tastes good. If you give a kid a Honeycrisp, tree-ripened, biodynamic, perfect 10 out of 10 apple, the kid's going to bite into the apple and go, oh my God, this I could do. I can do this. So if you hit your first hill at 300 watts, which you're going to, and then you blow up and you hate it, and you're like, oh my God, this is too hard. And then you think, I need stimulants to do this, and blah, 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 blah. And then it's just game over. It's like, fitness, bye-bye, too hard, not going to do it ever again, bye-bye. But if you've got that power meter, you can pace yourself. It's the game changer. All my girlfriends, I put them on power meters, and especially from day, like if it's a new girlfriend, day one, and the performance just goes, zzz, it's crazy. Because I say, just keep it under 200 watts. And then if they want to go harder, okay, keep it under 250 watts. Keep it under 250 watts and cadence 90 to 100. Go. Put the music on, and these girls just rip it up. Relatively speaking, compared to other girls who might train forever and then just quit because their knees blow out or they develop these, get a power meter. You need one. It's a cheap investment. Stages power meters, fantastic. They're fantastic. This is the best product out there. What else can I say about power meters? It might take you a few minutes to learn the functions of your thing. On the screen, I have 3-second power and cadence. All right, and then on another screen, I'll have we've got sunrise. We've got 3-second power and lap power. Right? So generally, I'm doing a time trial. I know what my cadence is because it just comes to me naturally. But at the start, just have cadence on there and 3-second power, and just keep it around 90. And please, pay attention when you're out on the road. Don't be looking down at your power meter like that and on your screen, and then you be riding up and go, oh, poof. You know what I mean? Calm down. Look at your screen, but first look up, right? So I've got my screen down here. I'm going to look up the road. Yep, you're good. Yep, you're good. Do the Chris Froome thing. He's like, this is the Chris Froome move. He's always looking at his power, making sure his power's okay. I'm getting head spins doing that. So, or before you look down, look up. On my screen, I have average lap power for my time trial. So your weekly time trial, which you're going to do, if you want to get your best results physically, aesthetically, mentally, weekly TT, 5 minutes to 30 minutes. There's a meerkat in there. There's a cat over there. 5 minutes to 30 minutes, and you're going to go as hard as you can go. But you're going to start the time trial at, whatever watts you can think you can hold for 5 minutes or 30 minutes. So that may be 100 watts for your first day. And if you're a seasoned rider or whatever, or maybe you're a runner coming over the cycling, it might be 300 watts you think you could hold for 5 minutes. If you can hold 300 watts for 5 minutes, that's pretty good. Not many people on the planet can hold 300 watts for 5 minutes. Not many people on the planet can do that. That's a really, really impressive figure. 300 watts for 5 minutes. That is, you are becoming if you can do 300 watts for 5 minutes, you're one of the fittest human beings that walks on this planet today. And if you can do 400 watts for 5 minutes, or even some cycles out there a bit heavier can do 700 watts for 5 minutes, and they would be, in a mutant category. But just to start with, do that, and then that weekly time trial, and then you finish your ride. Okay, I did 120 watts, and then next week try and do 125. And if you can improve 5 watts a week, you're doing really well. And maybe the first few weeks you might improve 20 or 50 watts a week. Okay, but as long as you're improving, it doesn't really matter. What matters is learning about your body, because there'll become a point where, like for me, to get my best power data, I have to put in a lot of work to if I can get 2 watts, extra, or if I can even get 1 watt more on my 30-minute power, that takes me an insane amount of life discipline and change to get 1 watt. 1 watt extra. Even for my 5-minute PR today, if I had to try and get 1 watt extra, I'd be stoked. But I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even get the 1 watt improvement because it would take so much training to get 1 watt improvement. And people think that, drugs aren't in pro sport. If you can get 1 watt, if you can get 1 watt improvement, you're doing well. You're doing it. You should celebrate. If you get a PR by a watt, you should celebrate. 1 watt, literally. That would be so hard for me to get. Can I even PR anymore? Who knows? I think I can. I just got to get over these injuries, over this concussion, etc. But there you go. That's the deal. You should get a power meter. Essentially get a power meter. They're so important to have. They're the game changer. They're not that important for me anymore because I sort of know how to pace, So if I was in a situation where I didn't have a power meter, I'll be like, okay. Sometimes I ride without a power meter because I've got so many bikes. It's not an issue. But for the noob, it's really important to have a power meter. I've got 11 years of power data. I've got 11 years of experience. I know what I can and can't do. So power meter for me is more that curiosity versus a real direction for me at this point in my life. But if you're a noob, you need a power meter more than the professional rider does. Because if you're a pro rider, when I mean pro, I mean like pro, like Tour de France rider, Giro rider, Tour of Spain rider, proper pro, then you're your body pretty well in terms of power wise. You can still improve, obviously, But the noob out there doesn't know what 200 watts feels like. You know, a pro, if you said right at 300 watts, they could probably do it within 5 or 10 watts. A noob would have no idea what 100 watts is, or 200 watts, or 300 watts is. They would have no idea about that. You know, so the power meter teaches you what pacing is, and then all of a sudden you can just ride as much as you want because you can ride all day because you know how to eat enough carbohydrate and drink enough water and pace yourself by your power meter that you can just burn an insane amount of calories and switch up your metabolism like crazy. I shouldn't say it's about burning calories. I should say it's about switching your metabolism, right? Because you can go for a long ride and not eat much and burn a lot of calories, but your metabolism will be bad from that because you didn't eat and your thyroid's like in panic mode. But you can go out and ride your bike and burn a lot of calories and eat a lot of carbohydrate calories with you on that ride, and your body's like, yeah, we can strip weight because we got to perform and we've got carbs coming in all the time, so we don't need to hold. We can sell, right? We can sell all our fat because we're like, we got carbs coming in, and the lighter we are, the faster we get, blah 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 blah. We're good. We got carbs coming in to feed the red blood cells. We got carbs feeding all the organs. We're good to go. Get rid of the fat. Now, if you're doing this training, not eating enough carbohydrates, your body's like, no, buy. Hold on to the fat because we've not got not enough carbs coming in. So it's just holding on to its investment portfolio. Just hold on to all the fat. That's why you see some people out there, some pro riders, they train so hard, but they don't look like they're pro cyclists, especially the women out there. The women are worse because they diet the hardest. And you'll see me like, wow, you're a pro rider, like, you're not that skinny. That's crazy. That's because they diet so much, and their metabolism, their thyroid, is just so cooked. They just their body's just metabolism just hold on to all the weight because like, no, we're in famine, man. We need to hold this. We need to hold these reserves. And the analogy would be like, if you're getting paid $1 million a day, you'd be happy spending $500,000 a day, wouldn't you? Or $900,000 a day. Like, well, I can spend $900K. I've got $1 million coming in today, tomorrow, forever. But if you're spending all this money and nothing's coming in, all of a sudden you're like, no, close shop. We're not spending any more money. That's how your body is. That's how your metabolism is. It's not going to drop weight consistently long term if there's not enough coming in. It might do that once or twice in your life, and it's like, no, we're in famine. We know what happened last time. We're in famine. We got to slow metabolism down. We got to gain weight. And that's why you see most cyclists are fat. Most cyclists out there are fat because they come into cycling, they want to lose some weight, do another diet, do another crazy training thing, and they just never get lean because they just eat so little, which might sound counterintuitive. And at the start, if you do that, you'll lose weight, but then you rebound, right? So people, I don't care about rebound. Rebound doesn't exist, you know. I'm just going to do it. Consequences don't exist. I'm just going to max out my credit card. I don't have to pay it back. I mean, you don't have to pay your credit card back. You can always default, but you always have to pay your metabolic damage back. You know, you can't escape that. So anyway, that's the deal there. That's just the truth. You're not going to hear this information from anyone else out there on YouTube, or potentially you're not. I just like to tell people the absolute truth. What they need is what's going to help them. If I think the truth's going to help you, I'm going to tell you. Without consideration of your feelings, because I'd rather hurt your feelings and give you the truth as a viewer than protect your feelings and feed you more bullshit. Other people can do that. Other channels can do that, you know. That's not what I'm here about, because I really value when people tell me straight up what I need to hear and don't bullshit me, you know. I appreciate that massively, so I hope you appreciate that, so you can get the best results out of your life, because whether you take my advice or not, like, it doesn't really affect me too much. It doesn't affect me at all, actually, but it affects you. You know, it affects your quality of life. But if you've got this part of the video or the podcast, then I'd say you're on the right track and you appreciate truth, integrity, etc. Anyway, tell people what they need to hear, you know, if it's going to help them. And yeah, especially when it comes to basic stuff like power meter. Power meter stuff. Yeah, this is very, very important information for the person out there. It just proves the importance of sleep, water, sugar. You know, power meters is like, it gives you more insight into yourself. All this calorie burning stuff, and it's just like weighing yourself. Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing really. Just it creates eating disorder issues. Always focus on power. When you focus on pushing more power, your body changes for the better. All right. Maybe as a guy, not so much, because you lose a lot of weight. When your power's really strong, you lose a lot of weight. But as a woman, most women out there, if you're pushing more watts, you know, or can hold the same watts for longer, your physique is going to go to a point where you're like, wow, I like this. I like these skinny arms. I like these skinny legs. I like this flat stomach. I like my toned bum. I like this. I like my face is more angled. Most women want that. And that's why they ride bikes, whether they deny that or not. And a power meter will help you do that. It will show the importance of sleep, water, sugar. And it will show you that the more power you can push, the better your body looks and the better your mood is, because you're just like, as long as you're doing it the right way, not abusing stims and doing crazy stuff, but I should say natural power. Because if you use stims, you can increase your power a bit, but at the expense of long-term health and fitness and sanity and mood. And and what's the point of being a really fast cyclist if you're just a freak show to be around in a bad way, So, music. What I found as well, just to wrap it up, music is the best stimulant. Okay, so if you're on the time trial, I recommend music. Just have a little Bluetooth speaker on your bars. If you're going to use earphones, again, pay attention, people. Pay attention, right? Always pay attention to the road in front, the road surface, the traffic, the animals, the wind, etc. Always pay attention. Right? It's good to be in here in the head, but also be very, very aware of what's going on around you. Okay, stay safe out there. You got any questions? Let us know down below. That is the podcast, the video for today. Power meter. Why they are a scam? They aren't. They're essential. Everybody deserves the right to have a power meter, especially in your first few years of cycling. It'll be a game changer for you. My favourite one, stages. Simple as that. Any questions? Let us know below. Hope it's helpful.